Hello! I will be showing the last two games that I played for Challenger for Season 4 um, as Singed. So here, earlier in Champion Select, I told everybody, hey, follow me level 1. We're going to win. And for the most part, I believe they're following me here to this bush. Usually I either go to this blue side or red side raptor bush on the other side. Here I take a look at the entrance just in case we can catch someone here. And we see Draven falling asleep. Didn't think that any invade would happen. After that, I end up. I generally like to, when we're on red side, hit this scry on my way back up and see if there's any possibility of messing around with their jungle. And here, I can just do a quick fling of the red buff over the wall and then just go back to my lane as normal. This serves a lot of purposes where it just slows down the enemy jungle's clear time. Now they don't get a leash, they have to start back over. Our jungler's going to just be ahead of them in every regard. Sometimes, I mean, if the jungler's almost done with red buff, I wouldn't do it. I would just go back to my lane. But it's always good to hit that scry and get a ward on their raptors. Gives a lot of vision. So now, generally, whenever I do this level 1 play, I accept that I'm going to be weaker in my lane. Just because they're going to be at the wave first or and get more EXP than me. But that's fine. I just play it safe. I'm just trying to farm here. I see that Diana's doing Raptor, so I don't have to be worried about getting dove here. I just focus on farming. So just to quickly go over that, my level 1 invade. Usually I like to invade on the dragon side bush by the middle river. Doesn't matter, just because there's a higher chance of someone being over there. So that's what I like. Why I like to invade level 1. It's always worth trying to look for a kill and just get my team ahead early on. And right here, I just focus on pushing my wave as much as I can, then recalling, just in case the enemy champion wants to dive me. Like in this case, I was so low that once they hit level 5, they would 100% try to dive me. So I just recall, and I go back to my lane. I lose a few minions, but it's fine. It doesn't matter too much. I have to accept that since I'm playing more for the team than for as the carry, I'm just focusing on surviving until the first dragon or herald. Don't need to necessarily win my lane, and just wait as my team scales. In this case, Fiora's walking pretty far up, overextended right now. I ping for an engage for a gank by Zinzao, and he listens. So the moment he cues in one more time, I go in, I wait for his repose to wear off, and then I fling him backwards. Now if he tries to escape, which he tries to flash out, we just get one more auto attack and he's dead. So I mean, Shinjuku is really good for setting up ganks. Here, Zinzao, I don't know why Zinzao is sitting tower. We don't really need to try to get plating right here. He can just take the enemy Krugs, and then we can look for a gank on Fiora as they're coming back to lane. But this sort of makes it pretty obvious what we're trying to do. And so I just clear the wave. I'm just trying to deny Fiora getting CS here. Usually I like to play behind tower, in this case with my jungles, just so we can prevent them from getting more gold. But unfortunately, Zinzao dies here. I take a few extra tower shots than what I should have. For some reason, I had in my idea that Zinzao could maybe live. But nope, there's no way he lives there. I just needed to run as soon as I could. And it would only be a one death situation. But that's fine. I mean, looking at gold, I'm still a bit ahead of Fiora. I have my Rylai's. We should look for a fight. As a team, we're still stronger than them. So we just need to try to get to this Herald in time. But they are already starting it, and they finish it in time. But we do some cleanup duty. We get a kill on Fiora. We rotate down. See if we can get a catch here. but no dice. What I should have done personally was shove out top wave and then come for dragon, but here I just get a fling onto Diana, and we actually do get to kill the Diana. So that's, I guess that's why I went to mid lane in the first place, to see if we can get a kill there. This was fortunate that Diana was overextended. And because Diana's dead, here I think, okay, well, it's 5v4. We should be able to get dragon. No problem. And we just win this team fight just because we have more numbers. Or at least I thought we would win our the team fight, but our bot lane came a little bit too slow. So while we do get some of these kills, Draven gets a kill. Diana tries to kill Fiora. We don't manage to secure some of those low health champions. We just weren't there at Dragon early enough together as a team. So despite us having a numbers advantage, we didn't really have the numbers advantage because we didn't play together as a team, which is fine. I just come back to Dragon. So I had the choice of going back between top or Dragon. I chose Dragon just because I want to keep fighting, because we are still ahead. We should keep looking for these fights. And I had my ultimate. So here we just get a lot of damage. Xin Zhao's here. Xin Zhao's very strong. Try to fling Draven into our team to do some damage. And I just need to back off away from his range. And as soon as he uses that auto attack, I go in for the fling to finish him off, because that way he won't have an auto attack to kill me. Here we see that Fiora's top lane. Their bot lane just died, so Draven and their support was just dead right now. We see Diana mid lane. So there's no one really here to contest this bottom tower. So in exchange for top tower, I made the call to push bottom tower and make sure we get this tower before we go back to base. So this way we don't really lose anything. Fiora gets top tower, we get bottom tower. Not a problem. I try to get Xin Zhao to come to Dragon just because there's no real reason to be top lane right now. The tower's already gone. He's just catching one wave. Like, we should try to look for another fight while Fiora is recalling. Fiora's either recalling or maybe running down, but most likely Fiora's recalling. And we should because Xin Zhao's top lane, I pinged to retreat, but I was worried that my team was going to look for a fight there. So I just make sure I come by Dragon just in case nothing bad happens. So here at this point in the game, we're just like looking either for a pick, making sure our towers are still alive, and just taking whatever resources that we can get, like Scuttle in top lane for Xin Zhao, getting our jungle camps. I call Caitlyn to come up for this Herald fight because we should keep team fighting just because we're stronger as a group of, as 5v5, we should be stronger. I'll always try to hit it scry. If I see an enemy scry up, I'll try to hit it because it does give a lot of vision and deny a lot of vision to hit those scries. Because they put Herald mid, I had to make the decision to go top or bottom, just because I know that Fiora would kill Xin Zhao 1v1 without anything. I made the call to go help Xin Zhao, at least get the kill there, and then I can collapse afterwards because they're overextended in our base. And so he's a good to slow him down, come in for the last auto attack. And I hover for a moment just in case Diana tries to go on Veigar. They shouldn't be able to take mid tower here. I think we can defend it by just killing the Herald and clearing the wave. And then we can try to look for fighting at Herald, because right now Draven's dead. We have numbers advantage. So we should try to look for this fight. And they do collapse under Xin Zhao, but he managed to get... He does manage to get the Herald, and we do win this fight just because there's just more of us there at the Herald. So important thing is that when you're doing objectives, try to make sure that you have a numbers advantage. If you end up being outnumbered, you need to either stop doing it or just, not do it in the first place, or to make sure that the enemy team are not coming with either proper deep wards and all the jazz. So here, just here to hover to make sure that the Herald can crash into the next tower, and then we just recall back to base. Veigar's pushing top lane, a little bit dangerous because Leona's walking up there right now, and some members of the enemy team is coming from base. As a Fiora should just run down the Veigar. And not much we can do about that. So right now, it's just a matter of just shoving waves. We don't have a Veigar. There's only 4 of us. So not really much to really look for here. Just take as much farm as we can in our jungle and in our lanes. And generally, like at this point in the game when there's like no objectives up, no real towers to play for, I mean, I can play for this top tower. It's almost dead. So I can shove the wave. But I do see Draven starting to walk up, and it's not worth my death. Especially before dragons coming up. Here it does look like our Kaylin got caught. So this is a little bit dangerous because it is before dragon. But Kaylin will be up in time for dragon. But now they start to collapse on our team after Kaylin dies. And Xin Zhao dies, unfortunately. So this death by Xin Zhao is kind of bad just because by the time he respawns, the dragon will be up. So if they're on top of dragon at the time that he respawns, it'll force us to have to 4v5 if we want to stop them from getting a free dragon. So here we just have to try to look for a pick. But they're already on top of dragon. They're going to be hitting it. So we just have to look for this fight on these two here who are overextended and not with their team and try to get kills there. But unfortunately, like they're, as I said, they're on dragon, so there's no real way to stop dragon. So we have to take what we can. Because we killed 2 of them, we should just push mid lane right here as a team. We have 4 against their 3, so we just look for this fight, and we get these kills. So once again, numbers advantage is the number 1 way to win team fights. If you lose it with the numbers advantage, it's purely because maybe your cooldowns were down or you just played it wrong. So despite us losing dragon, at least we get something out of it. We get a mid inner turret, and in addition, we can try to take more of their jungle, take away their red buff. I pinged to try to get Kaylin to take it, but Kaylin wasn't down for that, so Morgana helps me. I don't really care who takes it at this point. I just want someone to take this red buff away from them, deny them resources, and we also get the top outer turret. So despite us losing dragon, like dragons, in my opinion, aren't that valuable compared to just putting pressure on the map and taking towers. As long as you get something out of losing an objective, that is the main thing. Make the most out of your situation. Don't be tilted. So here we can collapse on Draven. I don't think we get him, but Kaylin does stop the Draven with DQ, but no real way to catch up to him. It does delay his back, so we can try to make a play on Baron buff. But they collapsed on Kaylin, but all their damage was on me instead of the Kaylin. So we just try to get 1 kill here. Hopefully we can kill the Leona. And we do kill the Leona, and our team just wipes them out from the map. So the problem with their team fight right there was that they split their attention between I and Caitlyn. And so because of that, Caitlyn and I got to live for longer than we should have. And basically allowed our team to collapse and win that team fight. It's very important, like, if you're going to commit to those fights, you try to focus down the correct champion, or else the situation happens. When Baron, usually when I'm doing Baron, I don't usually stay in the pit. I mean, unless we're trying to sneak a Baron in, I will always play around the backside of Baron, or just play as a disengaged tool to make sure that the jungler can't touch the Baron area. So I'll goo them, I'll fling them away, fling them over walls. I'll just make sure they can't get to the Baron pit. That's the number 1 job as Singe during Barons. Just make sure that the jungler can't contest a Baron and try to do a 50-50. Yeah, the only real times you'll want to be in the pit is if they have, you're just trying to sneak in and they have no idea you're doing Baron, or if it's a last ditch effort to just get the Baron buff in a losing game. So here we should just keep pushing the waves with Baron buff. Generally with Baron buff, I don't do jungle camps. It's more important to just keep empowering the waves to crash into towers, or else you're sort of wasting Baron buff. I make them blow their abilities. Grab these honey fruit with my honey fruit mastery, and Xin Zhao's pushing mid all the while that I'm keeping them distracted. So they can look for a top tower while I'm still bottom lane with Diana. Make sure Diana can't really come contest any towers aside from the one that I'm at. And our Baron buff is running out, so we just have to take what we can. And just grab the dragon, grab all the inner turrets. We can get the inner turrets another day. We are ahead. We have a lot of gold. We should continue pressing on with these team fights and fighting over objectives, just because they can't really win a 5v5 at this point in time. The only way they can come back into this game is if they get a pick on us when we're off guard. So obviously, as you can tell from my build, I just went the AP build just because I have a lot of kills. I'm not really dying. I'm doing a lot of damage. At this point in time, I didn't really care what items I built. I was building AP for the sake of AP. But with Baron buff coming up, the last team fight should be coming up soon. We just need to get in position for Baron. Look for a fight as 5. Here, because I see Diana, which I pinged to try to collapse on the Diana, but Diana obviously knows I'm coming, so we just shove out bot wave. With the bottom wave pushed, we can then move towards Baron buff, just in case someone tries to clear that bottom wave, because there is multiple cannon minions going down that lane. But they all see me bottom, so they try to do a fight without me, and luckily I was running straight towards Baron pit anyways. We find this fight. It's a 5v4, and they just lose this fight. Diana wasn't there. I managed to get there before Diana. And this is more or less a game right here. We get the Baron buff. We just push down mid tower with as 5, and there's only Diana defending really. No real way for them to really counterplay this. He's good to make sure to trap Diana, and we just finished up the Diana here. Oftentimes what I like to do is if they use an hourglass or they're coming back from GA, just toss a goo on top of them as they're spawning. No way for them to do any flash hijinks to get out or any crazy dashes. And that is the first game of this video. Pretty smooth sailing. We're in control for most of that game. And the next game will be my last game to get the challenger. Was pretty exciting. For this game, I'm playing with and against some familiar faces. On the enemy team is Nori, who's one of the best AD carries in the game. He plays competitive. He's been a part of major tournaments. And on my team, I have a jungler who I played with a couple of times in the past. They've always played well and generally always played with me in the past, so hopefully they remember me and continue to do so. So I know because they're playing a carry jungler, they are going to want to take the lead in team fights. They are going to want to get kills and become that carry. We look for a level 1 invade. So this is where on blue side I like to invade towards the Raptors because their dragon lane side is there. But unfortunately no one is there for us to gank. Since this is my last game to Challenger, I do a little bit of bribery. Let them know, hey, if you want to be a part of a skin giveaway, just saying. But usually it doesn't really quite work out. I don't think anyone has ever had that affect their decision. So Since I'm against Kennen, my number one thing is to just do my best to last hit without getting harassed. I play a little bit further away from the wave. Just only really walking in to get that last hit. One thing I really like about Wild Rift is the fact that your auto attacks do a little bit of AoE. Hits basically everything within its hitbox. And this is just a farm lane right now. There's no way I can make any aggressive plays. And honestly, this cannon should be harassing me a little bit more, auto attacking me, um, even before I come up to step up to last hit that minion. But because they're playing sort of safe, I can just let this push in. I do see Kennen's trying to contest the Fiora on the Scuttle, so I move up to make sure that Kennen doesn't do anything sneaky with the enemy jungle, but we see Camille on the map, so Kennen was just there to hover. So here I'm just trying to shove out this wave so I can make sure that no one can contest the Fiora onto blue buff. And I do try to do a fight against Kennen here just because I have a wave and he doesn't have a wave. But I was a little bit slow on my Ghost Flash and I underestimated how much damage he was going to do with his Ignite. But it's not a big deal. Fiora's nearby and he can just get the kill afterwards. And because Fiora's there, they can push the wave into the tower. So overall, not a huge loss. Fiora gets a kill, and we stay about even in gold because of that minion wave crashing into the enemy tower. And I see right now that our Dragon Lane side is losing, and I recognize that I should have been running towards Dragon Lane instead of running down towards my lane. But I'm just a little bit too late. If I ran straight to Dragon Lane, I could have maybe looked for a fight onto their Thresh or they're low health Dragon Lane champions. But because of that, I just go back to my lane. Try to get level 5. I just need to try to get my Rallies before Dragon or Herald spawns. So once again, because I'm against Kennen, I just need to keep farming. The one thing about Kennen is that if I can somehow bait out his ultimate before Dragon or Herald, that is pretty huge. Just because Kennen without ultimate doesn't really do much in team fights. So being able to bait out that Kennen ult will be pretty important if it's possible. Either with a gank by Fiora or maybe I just run at Kennen. But Kennen's playing pretty safe. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any vision on our bottom side, or if he did, maybe he saw Fiora near Krugs. And Diana has to recall here, so we can't really contest an objective because Renekton can hover Herald and Diana is recalling. We can't really touch the Herald at this point in time. Because I have my Rallies, we can just recall, get my Rallies, and then look for an objective fight. Just because Kennen is stuck in bottom lane, is pushing that wave. But right now it's not clear exactly where we should be going. Since they aren't on Dragon right now, there's no real reason for me to come to Dragon, so I can catch this cannon wave. And after this cannon wave, I need to rotate straight up to Dragon, just because we saw that the cannon left bot lane. But because Kennen hadn't gone back in a while, he must be recalling to get some gold or get some items with his gold. So I just need to rotate up. We see that Kennen's coming back from base and now has used his ultimate in mid lane. And because he wasted his ultimate, he didn't get a kill with his ultimate. It's a huge waste, especially before an objective. And now Kennen doesn't have his ultimate for an objective fight. And we should be able to pick basically our choice of what objective we want to take. However, our Dragon Lane is losing, so that's one factor that we have to take into consideration. We do see that Thresh is recalling, and most likely Kate is going to recall as well. So what we can do while they're recalling is to just force Dragon. They're going to be coming back from base, so we just need to hit Dragon as fast as we can. But the Camille engage got me a little bit low, so I just need to take this honey fruit to heal, and just because we started the Dragon Pit a little bit too low, their team is here. However, we see that Kennen is bottom lane, so this is a fight that we can take and we should be able to win because their ultimates are down. Renekton's ultimate is down. And because of that, I may have died, but our team will just be able to clean up that fight, especially after they went through my poison. So we do a little bit of extra damage with my weakness rune. Because 3 are dead and Kennen is bottom lane, we should try to force take this mid tower. But Vayne didn't want to commit to that mid tower, so which is fine. We just need a recall for this Herald fight. Vayne and Diana are in a really bad spot right now, just because they haven't recalled yet. So they're sitting on a bit of gold, and they are low HP. So I need to run straight up to this objective fight, or over here. I just pop everything. I'm a little bit too late to this fight, so I'm not really able to get anything. I'm just here to do some damage, make sure that they get low so that they can't do an objective right away. And Deft underestimates the poison damage, so I just go in for the fling, auto attack, and poison, and just make sure I kill their jungler before the objective. And I actually ping this like, hey, they're on the Herald, but the jungler's dead, so we can just go in straight in and contest it. They don't have a guaranteed smite to confirm the Herald, and we actually managed to steal it with Diana Q. And I ping the mid tower because if they pop the Herald right now in mid tower, they're going to have, it's a guaranteed tower in mid lane. But instead they use it bot lane, which isn't the worst thing because it does help with diving, and also it's a full health turret. But I just make sure to at least shove in this mid wave before I come down to help. One great thing I like about Singe Poison is that you don't need to actively be hitting the wave. You can just run through the wave, and it helps with pushing it. I catch the Caitlyn with my fling. They just stepped out and a little bit too far out. Maybe they didn't see me. And I had to go back to pushing. And generally, if I am trying to push a cannon wave, I'll always use the fling on the cannon minion just to do a bit of extra damage to it. And we managed to get the mid tower here. Here, I'm not quite sure what I was doing. I wanted to fling at least one of them, but this isn't really a fight we can take right now. Kennen's coming in from the side lane. I am being stupid, and I just need to leave. While that may seem like a good Dino, we don't need a fight there. After I get caught, it's a 4v5 situation, and Fiora is not anywhere near the team fight, so they just need to let me die. I was trying to be a little bit cocky and showboat a little bit there, which is not something you have to do. Be efficient with your time. Here I decided to go AP just because I felt like trying out the AP build. Go proto belt, just go in, catch their carry out, just because Nori, their AD carry, is their main carry on their team, the main driving force behind them winning fights. And we just set up for objective, hit the scry, get some wards in on the over the wall. And because Dan isn't with us, we just shove out the lanes. We see that their entire team is coming, so we need to retreat. I just slow them down with goo. Using the goo in hallways is pretty important if you're trying to fight in the jungle. And here, I just fling the AD carry into our team. We make sure to assassinate her, and from here we should just clean up this fight. They're low, and Fiora gets a quadra kill, a nice cleanup duty. The choke points around that tri-bush, or just in their jungle in general, is a very good spot for Singe. It makes your goo have a huge impact on fights, and in general, it allows you to kind of just conglomerate onto them with your poison because they're going to be stacked. So here I just want to help shove out bot wave, get a little bit of EXP and gold to set up for this Herald. I'm trying to get this Scuttle because just to help set up for this Herald. So one thing to note about Scuttle is that based on where you're hitting it, it'll run in that direction. So I'm just hitting it downwards because I know that my team is down here and their team is around mid lane. But unfortunately, they do catch the Diana who's by herself, so I have to go in. I use everything to engage onto them. And then we just win this fight here because they blew their resources on Diana and didn't manage to finish killing the Diana. And so it's important to kind of split your attention between objective and pushing towers. If you ace a fight, you want to just get as much as you can. So we get Herald here, we get mid inner turret, and take as much as we can. Here we can even look a little bit for the inner turret. If Diana stayed with us, we could have definitely taken this mid inner turret. Or at least gotten one more plating off of it. But it's fine. We just leave. Diana took their red buff, which is a good trade in exchange. And so we've really we're winning every objective fight. We're winning these team fights for the most part. And now we just have to look for fights as a team, especially with Baron coming up. If we get a nice clean fight, we can threaten Baron with our team. One good thing is if you can sweep the Baron side, it does apply a lot of pressure. It makes them have to walk into you. So if Baron is the only objective up, they sort of have to come walk towards the Baron pit to make sure that we're not doing it every time we sweep it. And from there we can look for an engage. So with everything swept, we're getting Scuttle. We can start to look for fight. Diana is not here with us, despite having to be here with us. So I'm just hovering right now, threatening an engage, but waiting for Diana to get nearby enough. And then I see that Vayne pops ult, so we just immediately go onto the cannon, immediately kill him with my burst damage as AP Singed. And we just go in, create as much damage as we can, have them overextend to kill me, and then my team just cleans up and we just win the fight. And from there, we just win. Just because we had that numbers advantage after we killed Kennen, and they're just out of position. They're not playing as 5, and my team just ends the game. The clip suddenly ends here just because as soon as they get that ace, my internet died, and so my stream ended. So it basically got stuck on this screen. But nevertheless, I guarantee you that we did win that game, and I hit Challenger. So these are just my latest 2 games of Singed. Please, if you have any feedback or if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, join my Discord, do plenty of other things. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe, all that jazz.